Good, well done. It's so heavy.
You don't want any editing. Well, you just edit. Pardon? We're gonna. I was hoping to do this so you didn't have to do any editing. So what have I screwed up, Cordy?
You're talking. If that's part of the show, that's okay.
That's actually a good part of the show. Okay. So this all begins a long time ago.
Yes, well, here we are.
Guess we can talk about
This is Maxwell,
Canada.
This is Lori.
Yes,
We're doing
Maxwell
flags.
Newhouse. Okay, yes. So we're going to, at the very beginning, Canada wants a new flag in 1964 under Lester B. Pearson, the Prime Minister then.
Yes.
They were trying to choose a design. They had hundreds of people all across Canada coming up with designs, artists. I knew some, Jack Shadbolt and Tony Onley, and a lot of the famous artists of the day. I was too young to be part of it. But there was one person stationed right here in Chilliwack at the Army camp. His name was George F.G. Stanley. And he's the one that came up with the original design for the flag. So he was actually, I don't think he was really an artist. He just came up with the right idea, and it was liked, and it was produced.
And it was a good idea because we've always had the maple leaf as a symbol, even before this.
It's always, we like maple syrup. That's just who we are. And so we got to put it on our flags. And I didn't really think much of it. Well, there is one funny thing that did happen. This is something that nobody knows about. Because I seen it in 1964 in the Vancouver Sun. They showed the picture of the flag before it came. And it had a blue bar on each side, and they said, this is a design. The blue bars are to symbolize the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
And I thought, wow, that's a great idea. When it came up, it was all red. And I thought, well, that's okay. I'll get used to it. The sky is blue, so there we go, red, white, and blue. So I didn't think much of it till 1974, and I was looking at the flag. This is 9 years after the flag's been up, and I thought, the funny thing about the flag, which is nice and different than any other flag in the whole world, is it's so natural, and I can do a painting. I can actually change that maple leaf into a spring leaf, like a little baby, an autumn leaf, like kind of an old person like myself, or it could be winter, all white, which is kind of like a dead person. There's nothing there. But I thought, that's the 4 seasons. And I put it all together as a painting. I talked to Elizabeth Nicol. She owned the Equinox Gallery. And when I proposed it, it was supposed to be spring, summer, fall, winter, winter being the last panel. And that's the way we showed it. And it got a lot of applause. People really liked it. There's something that happened that was kind of funny. That very day that it happened, Vancouver had a foot of snow. That was February 15th, 1975. Hardly anyone came. But all the politicians came because Elizabeth Nicol, who owned the gallery, her husband was John Nicol, and he was a senator, a Liberal senator. So he knew a lot of people. And they came and they liked it, and they thought it was just amazing what was done. And one person came, his name was Jacques St. Cyr, which I met, and he wrapped his arms around me and even kissed me. I guess he's a French Canadian, because he had designed the actual maple leaf. He also designed the CN symbol and the CBC symbol that you see every day on television. He was the artist who did this. And he said, I can't believe it. This flag's been around 10 years. You're the only person in Canada who bothers to do anything with it. So he was really thrilled with that. So that was kind of good, and the show went okay. It didn't sell much, but then only a few days after, all of a sudden the show was ordered taken down.
By whom?
Someone who's probably politically astute, because they read the sign, the symbol of the winter as being the last one, as the end of Canada. Because if you remember rightly, Quebec wanted to separate.
Yes.
These were serious times.
Yes. Tough
and he
80s.
even called me a name. He called me the Prophet of Doom, which is, I thought, that's just weird. This is only the 4 seasons. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So anyway, the show was ordered removed.
Oh, what a shame.
And I never really understood how much it upset everyone. But I really understood it when I showed it later, 40 years later, I showed it for the first time. I stored it for 40 years, the paintings. I went to Cultus Lake, and the first thing these people said, because I hung it spring, summer, fall, winter, they said, "What are you doing, predicting the end of Canada?" No, it's the 4 seasons. So to correct it, to get around in my head, Canada was actually founded on the 1st of July.
Yes.
So this is when it should start. So I finally got it right. It took me 40 years.
Yeah.
It's summer, fall, winter, spring. And the last season is spring, which is like a child. It's just the beginning. It's the most wonderful thing.
Yes.
So it finally works. And there was
Oh.
a symphony written around it too.
Wow.
So after that, I put the paintings away. I'm giving you the history of this particular show, which I was very pleased with. So I'll just put this away like I did
All right.
years ago. And a couple of years went by, and well, actually 1 year went by, and this book came out. This book, Between Friends. It was a celebration of America's 200 years. And I felt very close to this book. I thought, is there anything I can do to celebrate their celebration? Us, the largest undefended border in the world. And we really get along well.
Yes.
We love our American brothers and sisters. And I think they like us. I'm not
Right.
sure.
I'm half American. My parents were born there, so you have to be friends.
My mother's from Hollywood, California, so
Oh.
there you go. Can you get
Yeah.
any more American?
Right.
So I came up with this, a portrait of 2 countries, one in black and white and one in color. And the reason it's black and white is because I was doing black and white photography, and I just thought it was stunning looking at a colored picture and a black and white one. So I thought I'd do a painting like that. It's nothing to do with race or anything that's current and exciting today. It's just, that's just the way I saw it. I had no place to show it. So for, I think, 40 years, around 40 years, I just stored it. And I moved about 8 or 9 times and went to storage bin to storage bin. And then all of a sudden, I was going to show them when Canada was 150 years old. I thought I would show it with our other flags. So this is kind of relevant. Nobody really liked the American flag on there because they were kind of a little bit weird. But when I took the painting out of storage, it was torn right down here. Which is the worst thing that can happen to a painting.
Yes.
It's just like it's ruined.
Right.
But at that very moment, that was 2017, I thought, first of all, I got very upset. Then I thought, you know, this is just perfect, because this is exactly what's going on. I'm not going to talk politics or anything, but things seem to be falling apart down there, and every day was a headline.
Yes.
Every single day. And so I left it torn, and I showed it torn. And I thought to myself, what am I going to do with it after? I guess just throw it away. It's a ruined painting. But then I'd stored it, and I thought, I phoned Nancy Guitar, and I said, I would like to sew the flag back together as a performance piece, and we'll just do that. Let's just sew it back together. So that's what I wanted to do.
Good. Good. Now, if I can make a comment about when this flag came out, because I was living in the U.S. and came out in the beginning of '65 when this started flying, I think, at that time. And everybody said, well, that looks like a Campbell's soup can label. What a horrible design. And of course, we were so used to that Union Jack forever.
Oh, yeah.
And then not even a little square up here with Union Jack in there, like some countries have done that have broken away.
Yeah.
No, this is Canadian. And now we all love it. It's a beautiful
do.
flag.
It's the nicest flag in the world.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Right.
Good. Is it
So
break
we're
time?
off.
Are we off now?
Oh, now you're gonna sew.
Okay, now we're going to sew. Do you want to bring the tape over here, that masking tape? I might have to do it on the floor. No, I guess I can do it this way.
Pop it up back.
We're going to start by putting some masking tape on the back before we actually put a needle into the front, or front and back.
Doesn't want to stick.
Wider tape, maybe?
I want it this size because I want this to be the size of a stitch. I'm using it to measure the stitch too. I think it'll be good enough. Good.
There's our thread. Now we have it.
Okay.
We have some nice white thread to begin.
I don't know if the light is right here. Yeah, I can see this better.
All right.
Maybe I won't use the tape at all. Now keep in mind, I'm not a tailor or anything. Ouch. This is very hard to do. I should have brought some
Yeah.
pliers with me.
Push it through with this ruler.
You don't have a thumb,
You got a spoon?
Yeah.
or do you want?
Or your ruler.
Yeah, a spoon might be thicker and.
So this might take a couple days to sew.
Shall I get on the other side to hold the
Yeah.
painting?
I had no idea this canvas was so hard to sew. Ow. Boy, it's going to be a very painful day today. I was offered a thimble.
Yes. Do you have a sewing thimble?
So like a real man, I thought, oh no, I don't need a thimble. This poor flag has gone through a lot, especially in the last few days. This isn't working very well. Oh, I'm bleeding all over the place.
No, I don't want that.
This is not working. Maybe we should stop it for a while. We gotta see if I can get some pliers. Do you have pliers?
See if I can. Yeah, it's just so thick because of the thread is thick. Yeah, a pliers might help.
Sorry about that. I rehearsed on dollar store canvases. It was kind of tight, but I didn't rehearse on any of my good canvases because I didn't want to rip up any of my paintings.
Sure.
So I kind of blew it. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you. I'll use the needle nose. Yeah, that'll just be perfect. There, now we're cooking with gas.
I think the fact that you had to play and find what tools would work for you in the moment very much speaks to what's happening in the U.S. And they're trying different things to see what's going to work for them.
Right.
And the stitch probably won't be a perfect stitch, but we do know one thing. They did have the perfect storm down there.
That should be out.
It's right through.
Oh, I think that will look fine once it's...
Thanks for the pliers.
Great.
Now we're doing it with confidence.
Yes. Once everyone works together, things seem to work.
And we'll have America mended in no time.
Right.
Then we have to work on our own flag. No, our flag's perfect, actually.
Well, it's certainly recognizable, I think. And countries, other countries have remarked at times about our flag. And at times of the Olympics, ours is always flying quite prominently.
It is. I was really excited when Australia was going to change New Zealand was going to change their flag, but they decided not to. And it was going to be based on a fern. And I thought, wow, it's the only flag in the world besides ours that has
plant life on it.
Yeah.
Is it too soon to cut this excess off so that it doesn't get in the way?
Oh, it shouldn't be. It should be okay.
Okay. Going to be hardly noticeable.
That's right, it's the perfect color.
Yes. And he's managed not to stab himself.
Well, at least my blood will be red and will sort of mingle with the colors in the flag. At least I think it's red. It better be red. I don't know how long this will take. I timed myself with this other little dollar store flag. I was able to do it within 20 minutes. So I think I'm moving along quite nicely now.
Do we have an hour-long show?
Do you think we can edit part of this?
No, it'll let me start again.
I'm having a real hard time with this.
Yeah, maybe they don't want to cut too much off, and then
Just a minute.
because it just keeps getting tangled.
I guess you're going to have to work as a backup person.
Yeah.
Hold that back there, but don't let your finger get in the way. Those are the beginning ones.
Yes.
We should just tape them right out of the way, maybe, or cut them.
Yeah, even if you taped them.
So, when the dialogue starts again, we can talk, I guess.
Are we on?
Are we
Great.
on again?
All right. Well, we're about
So-
halfway through. Almost
When you
halfway.
think performance art, you think that singing and dancing and stuff like that.
Yes.
This isn't exactly anything like that.
Well, we're performing, but we may we may not be dancing.
This is unrehearsed, so I just hope I have enough thread to finish this, because what'll happen if I don't? I'm going to be completely embarrassed with a half-finished flag. But I think we're going to make it.
Yes, I think there's as far as we have so far.
Oh, what's going on there?
Something got. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. It just curls up.
It has a mind of its own.
Yes.
Well, we're a quarter way through, and one of my favorite performance pieces was by a German artist called Joseph Beuys. And he came to America to do a show. And he just got out of the plane, went to the gallery. He didn't want to meet anyone. And he was put in this room with what he thought was a symbol of America. And he spent the entire time in this performance with a coyote. They just stayed in the room together the whole time. And he's actually one of my favorite artists. But he knew how to do a performance.
It was with a live animal?
A live coyote, a wild
wow.
coyote.
When the thread lessens a bit, then it makes it a little easier to get through.
This poor painting, you know, was I was really careful to make sure all the brush strokes were perfect and everything in line. I think I did a pretty good job, but right now this isn't so great. It's not exactly perfect sewing, but we're going to get the point across. We're going to repair this flag.
Right.
And the country right now is healing. I have a feeling that...
You mean Canada?
No, I'm talking about America.
Oh.
They're going to get a lot. Things are going to really go well for them.
Well, everyone is very hopeful. Have been a Joe Biden fan for a long time, and I think he's going to do just fine.
Yeah. Me, I like Nancy Pelosi.
Yes.
I love tough girls.
She's definitely one. Oh, a twist there somewhere.
Something's going on here. I don't know what's going on. So, who in this room is a sewer?
I try to be.
So how am I doing? Am I? Would I make it in a quilt club?
No comment.
Yeah.
You mean I?
Well, they look much better from the front than the back, as they usually do.
Should be. Maxwell, I love how precise your stars are on the flag.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. I was. It was. It's a lot of work actually trying to do it. It's very mathematical. It's like drafting. It's not. You know, when I did this painting, I wasn't trying to do anything expressive. I wanted it to just be a plain flag. Sorry, ma'am, it's just a flag. That's it. And I didn't want to. You know, expressionism is a really nice way of painting. I can do that sort of thing, but for this. So they'll probably I think America will probably want to buy this and put in their parliament buildings, so they can remember the times they went through. Be a great souvenir for them, done by a Canadian. We sort of sit up here on this end of the board and we just kind of look down, look at the news. We watch Don Lemon. We're full of empathy. No, not strong enough.
Just keep pulling from that side. There we go. Well, we can promise them we will never come down again and burn down their parliament buildings like they did ours.
I want to make a correction here. You always hear them talk about the fact that it was burned down. And they always say 1812.
Yes, and it wasn't.
It was 1814. It was near the end of the war. I think it's what ended the war.
I think it was certainly a large factor, and said, well, all right, it's enough.
It was the War of 1812, but it wasn't until the war had been on for a while. And they had no right attacking us, by the way. Because we knew who we were. We liked our king and our queen. We still like our queen. She's fine. Fine lady.
70 years coming up now that she's been on the throne. It's unbelievable.
I think all of us are sort of, not all of us, but a lot of us like the queen. Gives us something to put in our gossip column and stuff,
right.
You know. We don't have any big stars, but we have the queen. Oh, we have a lot of big stars.
Everyone likes the pictures of everybody.
Yeah. And I guess if any of us got to see the queen or visit her, be pretty thrilling.
Sure.
You made reference to Andy Warhol. This image is like an Andy Warhol.
Yes.
That's a pretty good compliment.
Well, I never understood the fascination of his repetitive pictures. But they sell.
Well, what I believe, I totally believe this. I've read a lot about him. I think Andy Warhol, I'm almost 90% sure he had autism.
Oh,
And he's on the spectrum.
yes.
Even when he had his factory going in New York, they'd say, this is the way autistic people are, he would just disappear in the bathroom for maybe an hour or 2 hours. He just couldn't stand the noise in the crowds.
Yes.
And they'd think, oh, that's weird. What's he going there, sitting in the bathroom for? It's because he couldn't stand it. And my grandson has autism.
Yeah, they don't like noise.
He can't handle it. Crowds. It's just...
No.
And if you look at Andy Warhol's art, yeah, sure sign of autism there.
Yeah.
That's not a put down, by the way. That's just a condition.
Well, my sister and I went to a showing they had at Vancouver Gallery here some years back. And I wanted to get one of his Marilyn Monroe, something of hers. And of course, by the time we got there, everything was gone except a greeting card. So I said, all right, I'll take that. Framed it.
Actually, I have in my living room, I keep a Warhol. And I've been buying his work since early 70s. 72 I bought his work. Quite a bit of it. And it was very cheap back then. And I still have them. But I sold most of them because they became so valuable. I only have about 4 left now. But I have one of his, my favorites was the last one he did was, some people call it Fright and some people call it the Death Mask. I have that. That's where his hair is all over the place. He wore a wig because he was going bald.
Yes. His famous hairstyle, that's how he was always recognized.
So this is probably, to people watching it, one of the most boring performances I've ever seen, but that's just the way it is.
Yes. Well, we're helping to put America back together again.
We're doing our bit. Yeah.
It's a slow process.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think we're going to have plenty of thread left.
My stitch is coming apart, though.
Yeah, it's hard to get down far enough below the break so that they will stay in.
I'm going to have to double stitch it here because it's tearing apart, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
Is that the phrase? You put 2 stitches in one place?
Is that what we say? We have to take a stitch out? We can't really take it out because we're doing double.
You have to reinforce it with another stitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. This is...
And just, maybe have to go a little lower.
And reinforce it with another president.
How did, I think we got a little,
This is like a kiloed scar. Everybody has a kiloed scar, I think. If you don't have a kiloed scar, you haven't lived.
What kind of scar?
Kiloed scar? Do you know what that means?
no.
That's where it bumps up. You know, after we had a bad cut and then it heals, but there's a big ridge on it.
Yes.
Sometimes some tribes in Africa, it's like a tattoo, but they do kiloed. It's heals in a kiloed.
Pardon?
Scar tissue is the same thing.
Scar tissue.
Tattooing without the tattoo.
Ah,
You scar a picture into your skin.
right.
Which is something I don't think I want to do. Boy, that's tight.
Yeah.
You see, this is very high quality canvas, guys.
Yeah, right.
Ladies and
Yes, it
gentlemen.
is. It's certainly much better than what you get at the dollar store.
I was just going to say, I buy mine at the dollar store.
Yes, me too. In fact, I bought one months ago and haven't done anything with my painting since. Thinking of ideas.
Yeah. Corley's been doing some great stuff, great paintings.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've
you'll have
seen
to
some of your
bring
work.
them.
Saw your
I
black-
meant to bring my plaque today and had it out and then forgot it.
Your plaque for what?
My wall hanging that I had with the flag.
Oh, right.
Looks like we're almost mended. Things are going nice. I think this
Yeah,
is going to heal nicely. I'm not going to take these stitches out. This is going to stay for good. Actually, when I first hung this painting, I left it torn, but after the show was down, I was thinking of ripping it more. I just wanted to put my finger in there because it was just, things seemed to get worse and worse and worse. But I thought, no, just leave it alone, Max. Don't get mad at the situation. This is just a painting after all. It's nearly finished.
Well, it adds something to it that says life isn't perfect, countries aren't perfect.
No, and we're not perfect either.
Right.
Sit and criticize our neighbors, but that's not going to get us anywhere. Three more stitches. Whoa, I just have enough thread. This is going to work perfectly. Has that not gone through?
Yeah, not quite. Maybe 2 more stitches and we're all outstitched.
Thanks for the pliers. I would have never got through this. Or I would have been a bloody mess. Pardon the expression, it's just the truth.
Okay, I think 1 more and then that's it. I think we've got it. Oh, sorry, I wasn't watching here. Uh-oh.
So close yet so
Yes,
far.
oh, it had to be on the last one.
It's on the back side. We can't see it. Don't worry about it.
No,
Yeah.
but you have to get... Just 1 second.
Is this what it's like in real life when you're repairing something? I mean, your last stitch?
Okay, pull this one. There we go.
Okay, this is the last stitch.
Yay!
There we go.
Not quite.
No. Too anxious.
Just pull it back and then it'll straighten out.
Okay. Done.
There we are.
Tria.
Turn it right side up. Now that it's repaired.
And let's see what it looks like.
You can't even see it.
You wouldn't really,
Awesome.
unless you were really, really examining it closely. Now it's the end. Thank you for your patience.
All right.
I'm no longer a painter, I'm now a sewer.
Yes.
No, stick the painting.
Stick to painting.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done.
So that's it.
Mics, guys, and turn your mics off. And